Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. I can put this guy away. So, welcome to the stream, everyone. I think we're probably going to be a little bit short today on people, because I think Blacksmith Dan is currently streaming, so some of our audiences may be split a little bit. Dan doesn't stream all that often, but when he does, it's a great time. You should go check him out. I'm gonna shout him out for you guys. Hello, welcome in, Pyrex. Let's give Blacksmith Dan a shout out. If I can make it work. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Awesome. Yes. Join us in following Blacksmith Dan. He's a great guy. He's actually not all that far away from me geographically, too. So that is great. And if you're interested in blacksmithing, check him out. All right. So now I have headphones on. I can totally hear myself talking and thinking. So that is awesome as well. Let's see. So today we are going to be working on our hammer eye drift, and one of the things that I've been working on is making a set of tools so that we can start making some hammers and some axes. And we've been rudely interrupted by my internet dropping out multiple times over the past week, and I had a service technician come in and take a look at my stuff, and they replaced some connections and and then they left, and they're like, that should fix it, and it definitely did not. We have been dropping internet connection all week. So last Friday and Monday we only had about 50 minutes of stream, and that makes me very, very sad. So I called them up on Monday after the stream, and they sent somebody out, but they only had an appointment today. So he literally just left an hour ago. So, if we don't have a full stream, they're going to get an angry phone call from me, because there's just no excuse for that. So yesterday I did a little bit of work here in the shop off of stream. I recorded myself dressing this hammer eye punch. Now this is the fingers crossed. Yes, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood that everything works out. So this is the matching tool for that I am designing this hammer eye drift to match, right? So we've got a little bit of work left to do on this to match it to this guy. This is supposed to be a little bit smaller so that we can just drift it all the way through. So I think we're doing all right so far. So this was a giant disaster of rust yesterday morning, and I cleaned it up, and it's pretty shiny now. It's really functional. Even though there's a little bit of pitting in here, it's very minor, and it's not going to affect anything because this is a hammer eye punch. So all of the affected surfaces will be inside of the eye. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. But I kind of figured I would put it up to you guys. Would you like to see this guy at a mirror polish? So I'm going to show this to you guys closer up in the close-up cam. And you guys can kind of see here that there's a little bit of pitting here and stuff. So I'm kind of curious. Are you guys okay with this, or would you like to see it at almost mirror polish? So, we're functional. But do we want beauty? Now that mirror polish is not going to last long. Because the first time I use this guy, it's gonna get a heat patina on it. It's going to darken up and it won't be mirror polish anymore. But I am kind of curious to see if you know, because it shows better on, you know, video and in photographs. So I'm kind of curious. Would you guys like to see it in mirror polish? So we are about to hit our ad time, and it looks like that just started. So once that ad is over with, I am going to start up the forge and we're going to start working on the hammer eye drift. I'll talk a little bit more about what I did for this punch in a little bit as well. It's only a tool. I mean, you know. On a train and there is a big long tunnel ahead. Be right back. Makes sense. So today we're going to have to straighten out this drift. There is a little bit of a bowing here. We're also going to take a little bit of time to kind of squish this out so we'll have a chance to use it on the press. And so that's going to be our first heat. It's just like getting this section, this middle section here to a point where we can put it under the press. It looks like there's quite a lot of scale on it. So I think I'm going to take a wire brush to it. We're going to move these guys over here a little bit. Take a wire brush to it so that way it doesn't get me. I have enough, like, you know, bandages and scars on my hand right now, or like burns and injuries. I'd rather not allow myself or, you know, promote more. So yeah, that'll be our first act today, I guess. All right, so we are out of ad time now, so I am going to start up the forge. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, come on. There we are. All right, well, apparently I don't have this one on, so let's try this. Ah. Okay, let me try this again. We will try this again. One of these days, this will work for us. Here we go. That's much better. Much mo better. Welcome in, Bisbee Sangarius. Sangregarius. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Today we are going to be working on a hammer eye drift. So I'm going to put this away and then I'll kind of explain that a little bit. So when you are making a hammer, because as a blacksmith, I enjoy making my own tools. So, you know, you need to add a handle to your hammers, and you know, you got that nice hole there. So this right here is a hammer punch. So this is a tool that is designed to punch this hole out of a blank or a steel blank. And so this is kind of designed to expand that hole as well as support the hole so that when I go to work on the sides of that hole, it doesn't collapse on us. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let me pull out some tools real fast. I'm a little bit less prepared today because my ISP service provider, our serviceman, just left. All right, so there's that. Just call me Fizz. That is so cool. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy, seeing things like that. All right, so let's grab a hammer. This is going to help us out a lot. So we've got, our tongs so we can move the hot metal, and we got the hammer so we can hammer it. All right. So yeah, this summer I would like to make a hammer as well as an axe. And so I don't have any of the tools that are necessary to make either of those things. And so I decided that I was going to make some of those tools and bring you guys along with me. So I purchased this hammer I punch from the Indiana Blacksmith Association conference. And when I purchased it, it was covered in rust and the handle was all dry and nasty. So I spent a couple hours yesterday kind of cleaning this up to a point where it's pretty shiny, pretty usable. So the next thing that I gotta do is kind of put this guy back together. This is a friction fit handle, but the friction is ridiculously tight on this guy. So I'm thinking that I need to do a little bit more work just to make sure that it doesn't get stuck on there. And then I have a couple other things I'd like to do with this. So I did video all of that, and I will edit it and upload it onto YouTube in a few weeks. So look for that video. I'll keep you posted on which one's coming up next. This week's video I just posted today, and that is an overview of our soapstone holder. And our soapstone holder is, where did I put it? Oh, it's over there. Let me go grab that real fast. So this is our soapstone holder, and we started this guy on stream, but we were not able to finish it on stream. So I recorded me finishing it, and so the edited version of that is up on YouTube right now. So you guys can go and check that out. The link for the YouTube is on the channel page that you guys can kind of go there if you would like to see some other fun things that we do together, or some of the stuff that I do alone. But I like to take you guys with me. So, what else is going on? Like I said, the service provider, or my ISP serviceman, just left. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't drop the stream and it's very, very clean and steady. And if not, they will be getting another phone call from me, and maybe they'll send someone else out to fix everything. They actually ended up replacing my modem and all of the cables up to what they call the drop, which is where my line branches off from the main line. So anything else that is wrong with our internet is their problem, and it's like all along the street. So we shall see if I have to call them again. There is nothing more frustrating than getting really into a project and getting really excited about talking with you guys, and only for the internet to just drop out suddenly. So I'm really excited to test this out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we have no more issues. The only other thing that I might have an issue with is I still have yet to replace my laptop. It's a little bit on the slow side. It is about a 10-year-old laptop, but it should actually be pretty decent. It's got like a good 16 gigs of RAM, and it should be working pretty well. One true Mexican. Steal your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Stream must go on. Yes, exactly. So like I said, I just had a service technician come in and check everything, and fingers crossed everything's gonna function properly. Do you happen to know if the hammer hole thingy is also used in other parts of the world, maybe even historically? Yes, a hammer eye punch and a hammer eye drift are very historical and classical tools. When the first time I became familiar with them was watching the YouTube blacksmith Alex Steele, and he is British. He learned it from an American blacksmith, but like they're all over the place. So you can find these all over Europe, all over the United States. This is how you hand forge a hammer. This can be done with both a coal forge or a propane forge. Right now we have a propane forge. I do have a coal forge, it's over there. We have done some coal forging in the past, and we will do some more in the future. However, because it is so hot today, it's in the 90s, I wanted to use the mini forge so that the ambient heat would be, a little less broad. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Hopefully it'll allow us to play for a little bit longer with the mini forge. Does a coal forge change the carbon content in the steel? Well, in all technicality, any coal or any forge at all will change the carbon content within the steel, or if you are improperly using it. You can actually burn the carbon out of a high carbon steel by just allowing it to just sit in the forge at a very high temperature and not pulling it out when you get up to temperature. But does a coal forge add carbon? Not really. There's hardly any coal transfer into the steel. Now, the steel that I am currently using that's in the forge right now, that is a proprietary alloy or steel alloy called Atlantic 33. And Atlantic 33 is actually a very low carbon steel. Instead of using carbon to create the hardness needed for a tool, they are using a element called barium. And I only know that because it burns green. Like when it gets really high into a forge welding temperature, the fire changes from that yellow to clear to a green color, and that is the only metal that makes sense that burns green. Chemically speaking, any metal that can burn, and they burn different colors. So that's one of the ways that you can tell what is in something. So like when you see your fireworks, for the New Year's, and if you're in the United States, the 4th of July, Cinco de Mayo, things like that. The colors from those fireworks, the colors are produced by burning different types of metal. So, yeah. Like I said, there really isn't a positive carbon transfer from the coal forge. It's more of a negative carbon transfer. But this guy, we don't have to worry about that because it does not have any carbon to begin with, so we can't burn it out. That makes it very, very convenient. This particular alloy was developed for the U.S. Navy for use inside of submarines so that they could make tools that they needed while they are, underway. So, looks like we've got plenty of heat on that. I do have a blister, so I have 2 blisters. There's one here under the orange bandage and one here, so we'll see if I have to go grab another bandage. Hopefully, it's fine. Usually they don't bother me too bad, but we'll see. All right, let's get this going. I think today we're gonna put the inset right there. So like I said, we are going to focus on this central area. So we can get it ready to go under the press. So we started working the steel on a diagonal. And the reason we did that is so that we could move the metal exactly where we want it. Because it was a little on the short side in the horizontal direction, innately from this side right here. So I turned it diagonal so I could kind of crush the width that I needed. So I think we're going to do one more heat. But the problem with doing the diagonal is that it's a little bit too wide for the jaws of my press. So we're kind of processing that steel. Boston, welcome in. I hope it works too. Like I said, the ISP service technician just left, so I mean, I feel like he'd be doing a really shoddy job if he left and the stream just suddenly dropped, you know? It should work for at least a week, right? I love how the Band-Aid is color-coded with the glowing metal. Yeah, I have these, I don't know why, but like I bought my Band-Aids, the ones that I have right now, at like a bulk store. So you can buy things in bulk at this place called Sam's in the U.S. Or I mean, another place that you could buy them would be like Costco. Anyway, the Band-Aids that we bought were like bright neon colors. So this one is bright orange. I also have bright green, neon green, and like construction yellow. So, you know, I thought they were pretty. There's also some red ones in the box, but I think the orange ones are probably my favorite. I did also think about buying the ones with the cartoon characters on them, you know? You can't go wrong with cartoon character Band-Aids. I just borrow my Band-Aids from the work first aid kit. See, I have to buy my own supplies since this is my shop, you know? So I don't really have to worry about, you know, my employees or anything because I am the only employee, but I also have to, you know, buy all my own stock and my consumables and Band-Aids and things like that. So, you know, yeah, there's some good, some bad about working for yourself, you know? All right, let's do one more heat at the anvil, and then from there we're going to go over to the press, and we're going to work a little bit faster. The press over here is a 20-ton press, so that's 20 tons of pressure on the piece, so it goes a lot faster than what I can do here on the anvil with my hammer. Because I am allergic to Band-Aid glue, only the ones for children are generally less dangerous. Oh, that makes sense. All my Band-Aids have pirates or mermaids. That is great. I think that pirates and mermaids are great. One time I had the Sesame Street characters. I liked those quite a lot. So now I'm going to take a little bit of time to kind of straighten out this piece. There's a little bit of a curve that's been developing over some time, and I want to make sure that this guy is straight so that it'll go straight through that hole. So I think we're doing pretty darn good here. and I think we'll be ready to go under the press shortly. That's lovely. I'm pretty happy with that. I do kind of want to compare. All right, we're getting what we need. So I need to get more width while maintaining a little bit more of this height. So we'll keep on working on that. See what we can do back in the forge. Sesame Street, yes. Man, I grew up with Sesame Street. You know, they had to sell Sesame Street. I think Netflix owns it now. That made me a little bit sad, you know? But yeah, Sesame Street is now owned by Netflix, so they're going to start making seasons of it. It'll be interesting. I don't think we'll get nearly as many episodes per season now that Netflix has it. They usually do 8-episode seasons at Netflix. So we'll see how they do with Sesame Street. Let's see. What else do we get to talk about today? We get to talk about lots of stuff. So like I said, on Monday and Friday, we had a little bit of trouble with our internet connection. We shouldn't have that problem anymore. Also, we should be able to figure out if we get we have a bid out on a van for travel. We want to make like one of those travel vans, like a mini camper, I guess. So we have a bid out on one, and we get to see. We should be able to see by the end of this week if we get to purchase it for the price that we bid. And if not, I guess we'll have to look or start looking again for another camper van. It'll be exciting to use the camper van when we go on field trips. I love taking you guys out on field trips. I'm pretty sure Netflix doesn't own Sesame Street. I work at Netflix. I have not been up to date with Sesame Street in 30 years. But I love the Count and Placido Flamingo. I thought that the Netflix or that Netflix recently bought it, so within the last couple months. I could be wrong though. I just thought, I guess I thought I saw an article about it. So I mean, if you work there, you probably know better than me. So maybe someone else bought it. Old school Cookie Monster is my favorite. See, my favorite was always Count and the bats that he had in his castle, and they used to like sing backup for him, and he'd be like all counting, and the bats would sing backup for him. That was my favorite. I was obsessed with them. I made paper bat puppets when I was a kid. My mom says that when I was a kid, I was very creative, and I was constantly making little pieces of costumes and little sculptures and things like that. And that's probably why I became an artist when I grew up. My buddy asked me who my favorite vampire was, and I said the one on Sesame Street. He said that doesn't count. I assured him he does count. He does count, you know? Won't you dance with me doing the baddie bat? All right. I am going to move my camera from the anvil view over to the press view. So you're going to see me moving the camera around, but I want you guys to be able to see the press from a pretty decent view. And this is really the only way I get to do that. So I guess you get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes magic here. Let's see, how close can I make this? Huh? Okay. It's being weird with the focus. There we go. That should work. All right, so we are now on manual focus because I am, trying to get all sophisticated. When I have autofocus on, a lot of times the camera will just randomly pick to start focusing on something else. So then the focus ends up getting all blurry and then sharp and blurry and sharp. So it's easier for me to put it on manual focus, or I guess it's easier for you guys when I put it on manual focus and less easy for me. No assistant today, yeah. My partner is at work. Normally it's just me and you guys. Occasionally when there's a holiday or just something special, when he needs to take off some extra days, we'll have a partner. Anytime I do field trips, I do bring him along because it's a lot easier, when I have a guy with a camera following me than doing it all myself with like a selfie stick. But my favorite vampire is Count Corlock from the Dance of the Vampires. I don't think I've ever seen Dance of the Vampires. You'll have to let me know, what that's about. All right. Man, I cannot get rid of these stupid wasps. I spray them every week, and they will not go away. Field trips wasted on kids in school. Like, I want to take a field trip to a water wheel and learn how old folks ground wheat or something. That would be cool. Hey, Mahalo, welcome in. We're just getting started. Were you hanging out with Dan? I saw that he was streaming today. I wanted to stay, but I had to get ready for our stream. All right. You know what? I have just now realized that my air compressor isn't on right now. I need to plug that in. Give me just a moment. I'm sorry about that, guys. I mean, it was really quiet. I was just kind of like, why is it so quiet? There's something different. All right, let's plug this in. I have an angle grinder plugged into the cord or into the outlet that my air compressor hangs out in. Let's get that all taken care of. I don't need an angle grinder right now. I need an air compressor. The Dance of the Vampire movie is pretty old. It has Sharon Tate in it. She died like 55 years ago. But there is a musical based on the film, and it's a bit crap or campy, but beautiful. I love campy movies, especially campy vampire movies. They are so much fun. I'll have to look it up. Nice to know there's enough air in the tank to get through a heat. I mean, there is. I would definitely go with that vampire if he came into my bathroom to invite me to his ball. I mean, vampires have a tendency to be really pretty. So, I can't say that I would blame you. So we are about to hit an ad break. That would be our first ad break for the stream, and so I always wait until ad breaks have finished before I do heats, so that everybody can see them, regardless of their ability to pay for nitro or I mean not nitro. Yeah, to pay for subscriptions or premium services. So don't worry about that. So it looks like Netflix is buying the next season. I don't know about owning the whole Sesame Street studio. Yeah, Twitch Turbo. You're right, Mahalo. You've got that. I always mix up Twitch Turbo with Discord Nitro. I don't know what it is about those two, but I always mix them up. It's so weird. Big Mac. Ooh. McDonald's sounds really good. I had a microwave meal. My partner calls them meal cartridges. So you get the frozen dinner out of and you just throw it in the microwave. That's what I had for dinner, or I mean for lunch. But I think that a Big Mac sounds really good. Now you're making me hungry. I might need a snack after the stream. So how is the press powered? Air over hydraulic? Yeah. So the press is actually, it is a pneumatic press. Okay. So this is a pneumatic press. It is powered, well, I guess it's like pneumatic and hydraulic. So there is hydraulic fluid in there, and I can use a hand pump to pump it down or up, but it takes way too long for it to lower if I'm doing it by hand. So I run it on an air compressor, and so it's both pneumatic and hydraulic, if that answers your question. Why are there people on my screen arguing if a Big Mac is still a Big Mac if it has chicken? It's called whatever they write on the board. And back. 20 years ago, I had a pneumatic Lego. Is it really the same? I mean, I don't know. A Big Mac, I think the sauce is what makes a Big Mac, really. Because when you get down to it, I don't know, maybe the middle bun too. Because when you get down to it, what is the difference between a Big Mac and a Whopper? It's that Big Mac sauce and that little middle bun, I think. That would be my answer to their question. So I think that you could add chicken to it. You would just have to have the middle bun and the sauce. Oh, goodness gracious. What am I looking at? All right. It looks like my propane is starting to get a little bit low. So I think what I want to do is I do actually want to change my tank. I have a brand new tank over there, and I won't have to change it for a week after that. This thing is so efficient, but I do need to change my tank because it is starting to get a little bit on the weak side. So I'm going to take a look at the comments, and then I will change the tank. What do I got? But you can't sing the Big Mac song if you say chicken instead of beef. I guess that is true. It doesn't, the rhythm is different. I am German. We don't have the Big Mac song. Really? For shame. You should have the Big Mac song. I think it would be great, with all of the German words for things, That could be so fun. All right. So we are going to change the propane tank real fast. And then we'll get back to forging. Close. But I have been using the same tank for so long at this point. Let's see. This is kind of an old tank. Oh, come on. It's being stubborn. There we go. And I will be right back. My brand new tank is on the opposite end of the shop, unfortunately. Raw. Full tank, full tank. So I use 20-pound pegs. You can kind of see this one here. It's brand new. It has the little, you know, the little seal thing. Man, when I tried to get this guy, originally, I think it was a week or two ago, because we haven't been using a lot of propane recently. When I went to buy this thing, they tried to give me an empty one, and I was like really upset with them. It's like, dude, that thing's empty. You can't just give me an empty one for an empty one. That's like stealing. Lefty, tighty, righty, loosey. All right, and our brass is beautiful. All right. Let's turn on the tank, maybe. Maybe if I can get the tank open. My hands are already kind of sweaty, and so I'm having a little bit of trouble. Come on. There it goes. Much more better. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. This guy is so efficient that the heat doesn't dissipate fast enough, so I didn't even have to get the new, or like the lighter out. So that's also great. Two goldfish are in a tank. One looks at the other guy and says, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" Hate the backwards threads on propane. It always confuses me. It is very confusing. Wow. That doesn't really sound like you could sing that, Fizz. Is that, I assume that is the Big Mac song. Yeah, that's got to be the Big Mac song. In German, that's great. So it looks like I'm having a little bit of frame dropping. It shouldn't be too bad. It's not the internet's fault. It's my laptop spending extra time buffering. It's kind of on the old side. It's a little bit slow. It shouldn't drop, but you might see a few missing frames here and there. I apologize. I looked it up on YouTube and translated it just for you. Well, I totally appreciate that. I mean, I feel special, you know? Quality looks fine on my side. Excellent. I'm glad that I'm the only one that sees the frame drops. I have a monitor on my computer, like over my OBS, that like tells me when there's frame drops. So I think really it looks like it's just a frame here, a frame there. Hopefully, you know, it works just fine. I need that on a t-shirt now. That would be a fun t-shirt to have. You know, you get the German words and then maybe have like a picture of each of the little ingredients. That would be fun. McDonald's, they probably would sue. I mean, McDonald's is really protective over their IP. I feel like McDonald's and like Disney are like super protective of their IP. You know, the other person that is Taylor Swift. She's very protective over her IP. But I mean, I think I would be too if I just paid $1.8 billion. No, $800 million to buy all of my IP back. All right. Are we hot enough? It looks like we are. So I think I am going to do another heat, but before I do that, I am going to turn on the record function on my stuff. Disney are the copyright kings. They definitely are. I feel like so much copyright law is actually like dictated and lobbied, or at least American copyright law is lobbied and dictated by Disney Corporation. It's kind of crazy. Disney and Nintendo are probably the most hostile about IP. Oh, I forgot about Nintendo. Yeah, they are pretty well too. But I don't blame them because they have one of the most popular IPs in the world. Them and like Hello Kitty. You would be surprised how popular the Hello Kitty IP actually is. Let me change views so we can do another heat. You know what? I think I'm gonna throw it up there. Ooh, so bright, so pretty. Such bright, pretty light. Okay, it would be nice if you went down. Thank you. Looks like we're gonna have to do another heat on the anvil. And I'm gonna do this real fast because I'm gonna do a little bit of work here while I still got heat. All right. We're gonna have to do a little bit of work on this area right here because it's starting to get a little bit thin on this side. So I'm kind of using this a little bit as a judge for, you know, what we're doing here. You can kind of see it on this side. We got a little bit more shaping to do. More heat, more heat. Apparently Playboy makes more money by licensing the bunnies in their media. See, I can believe that. I feel like Playboy is pretty popular even for women in a lot of countries. There is so much Playboy merchandise. You know, you've got like shorts and little tattoo or temporary tattoos and shirts and all kinds of stuff. And I really feel like the magazine itself, and I mean the magazine industry in general, a lot of it is just like, you know, it's going away. A lot of magazines are going exclusively online. People just don't buy print media like they used to. And I feel like TV is like that too. People don't watch broadcast TV anymore now that there's like streaming. But you could actually make way more money on with broadcast TV than you can ever with streaming. So that's why we're having a lot of issues right now in the film industry because they're just not making as much money from streaming as they thought they would. Um, so, fun fact for you there. I didn't say greetings. Welcome in, Ping. Welcome in. I'm so glad that you're here. Is Dan still streaming? I saw that you had posted in his stream. I definitely wanted to check it out, but I was too late. By the time I got my internet back up from the service provider leaving, then I pretty much had to come straight out here to get all my stuff set up. So I didn't get to watch Dan's stream. How was it? I like watching Dan, but he never streams at times where I can watch. Unfortunately, I try. All right, so I am actually going to move the camera over back to the anvil so you guys can see what's going on here. And then we'll probably move back over to the press a little bit as well. For a little while. We'll see what we can do. We'll see how it goes. All right. You can see the butt to the horde now. And now it's in focus. Excellent. That's what I want to see. That's what I like to see. Focused cameras. All right. Let us see what's going on. I dug a 3.5-foot hole and set a 4x4 post at 84.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my goodness. I feel like I would not be able to do that. I mean, I do this blacksmithing thing, in the heat, but I feel like it's different because I have an industrial fan and I've got cross breeze from the doors, but I don't think that I could just stand outside and just like do hard labor like that. I hope you're hydrated. Drink lots of water, All the water. All right, we've got plenty of heat, so I'm gonna change the view again. Yes, yes, yes. Much water. Ooh, look at that bright, bright light. Woo! Scale galore. Much scale. So right now I'm spending a little bit of a time shaping this. We don't need a lot of drawing down, but we need a lot of shaping, I feel like. We're getting really close to the size that we need, I think. That's beautiful. So I've been kind of using this guy right here as kind of a judge, right? You can kind of see that. It's about where we want it. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to turn this around and stick it in the forge this direction so we can kind of straighten out this bow. We've got this lovely bow there. Now here for a Ray Smithy stream. Awesome. The only hole I dig in the heat is for a pool. I mean, that's fair. That is so fair, Mahalo. I want to keep that guy a little bit on the cooler side. Like I said, I'm using that to kind of judge how, how much or how big I need this strip to be, but I also need to make sure that I don't heat that much up, or heat that up too much, because then I won't be able to touch it. All right, lettuce. We were talking about Big Macs earlier. There's a lot of scale here on the anvil right now, so I'm trying to get rid of that so it doesn't go flying up at me. It's always the worst when the scale flies up and hits me in the face. Sometimes it actually goes underneath of my safety glasses, and that's always really scary. Hose water hit different when I was a kid. That metallic zing, right? I don't know what it was. I always feel like the hose water was always a little bit warm too. A little bit metallic and a little bit on the warm side. But then I also remember, because like most of the time when I was drinking straight from the hose, it was at my grandma's house, and my grandma had well water, so there was a lot of extra minerals in that water, so that also had a very distinctive taste. So it was like not just the metal from the hose fixture, but it was also like those extra minerals, and you know. I am starting to dread that I did not invest in some kind of AC. I am melting here. Yeah, I almost wish I had an AC, but I also am like, I generate so much heat that I feel like the AC would constantly be running in there. It would just cost so much power. I also only have one window, and I've been trying to set it up so that I can vent the coal forge out it. And so I can't really forge right next to an air, or like a window unit air conditioner. So I don't know. We do what we can. I really need to get a second industrial fan. I've got a Cat brand industrial fan. It's pointed right here, so it's like shooting directly at me right now. But so I can actually feel that air moving, but I also don't have it directly blowing on the piece of steel that I'm working. It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit at 9 p.m. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. 9 p.m. and 100 degrees. I mean, I guess you are totally in around the same. You might be a little bit higher in latitude than me. Because I am in southern Illinois, United States. So, I mean, I'm like a little bit on the southern end, but we're still, I don't know, I think we're still around the same latitude area as like the Mediterranean. So, I mean, you guys might be a little bit north of us, but not too bad. Let's see. I'm going to do another heat on the anvil, and then we'll kind of assess again. And all my windows face the same direction. No chance for airflow. Ugh. Green fire. Yes, we definitely have green fire. That barium inside our forge, or in our steel. So right now I am trying to kind of straighten this guy up a little bit. We're also going to take a little bit of a time to crush those corners a bit, so we can continue this taper down a little bit further. I do want to make sure that I have a nice area that I can hold this with my hand. Right now, I'm a little bit worried about being able to hold it with my hand right now, because it's a little on the handle area itself is a little on the short side. So I might think about maybe drawing down this section here a little bit further, so that we've got a little bit of extra area for our hand to sit. Yowza. Piece of scale hit me in the hand. There we go. More heat, more heat. So there's a weird bump out right here that I am going to assume that it is from the press itself, so I need to kind of flatten that out a little bit. So that's going to be our next job. Back in the heat, back in the heat. What do you dread with a chemist? Oh, what do you do with a dead chemist? You bury him. Exactly. Man, one of these days I will actually be able to read correctly. So I have this whole thing where when I'm reading, I have a tendency to look at the shape of the word and not the actual letters. And that's partially because I tried to learn to speed read for a while. So you get to this point where you start looking at the shapes of words, and it's no longer the individual letters. So the more shaped words that you can actually process at one time, the faster you can start to read. The problem with that is I only get the gist of things. I don't actually get as much comprehension that way. So sometimes when I'm trying to read really fast, I don't always catch the word correctly. It was really bad when I was a fry cook because we had two types of breadsticks that started with a B and then ended with sticks. So we had breadsticks, and then we had this thing called Bosco sticks. And it's basically, if a breadstick and a fried cheese stick had a baby, that's what it would be. So you got the breadstick and it's injected with mozzarella cheese inside of it, and they call that a Bosco stick. And I always read those backwards. But yes, Bosco sticks sound amazing right now too. Man, we need to stop talking about food. First we were talking about Big Macs, and now we're talking about Bosco sticks, and now I just want a snack, really bad. Can you cook one in the forge for us? I don't know. See, I have friends that do cook in the forge, but I personally don't because my smithy in general, this place is constantly dusty as all heck. I dust this place relatively frequently, and when I do that, within a day, everything is covered in a fine layer of dust. So it's just I don't really want to bring food out here. And anytime I bring water out here, it always has to have a cap on it so that I don't get that dust inside my water. But I am getting really hungry, guys. You guys aren't playing fair. All right. Let's do another heat. We're going to address that little pop-up that we left with the press. So we're going to try and flatten that out a little bit. Here is a pizza place where they cook your pizza within seconds. They are abusing a forge there. Huh. I can imagine that that you could, but it's probably not nearly as dusty, dirty in the restaurant as it is in my smithy. So instead of doing really hard forging hammer blows right now, I'm kind of doing a little bit more of a precision tapping. We're kind of trying to shape this as opposed to forging it. I think right now we've actually got a pretty good taper going here. I'm pretty happy with it. We're gonna flip this guy around and we're gonna test it with the hammer eye punch again. We're gonna kind of see where we stop and all right. So we need to widen it out just a little bit on that area. Maybe. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the holes. So this one's a little bit wider than my normal hole. So I think this will be all right. Whoa, dropping things right now. All right, so if we look at this. Yeah, I think we'll do it. I think we're doing all right. More heat though. I need to kind of flatten it out with a flatter. I don't have a flatter though. What did I just do? It blinked on me. Okay. We are this close to getting Ray a setup covered soup pot. Maybe. A good use for all that waste heat from the forge. You can place a pot with a lid in a strategic spot and make a stew. I could make a stew. Is this still hot? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I can still touch it. I mean, I don't know. I've got all these bottles of propane, and they have those like propane stoves. We've been looking into that since we've been talking about getting a travel van. We've been talking about doing a propane stovetop so that we can cook in the van. But they fold up. They're like a Coleman camping supply. So those are kind of neat. I could definitely power one of those in here, or I mean, I guess I could, in theory, put the pot on top of the forge. There is a lot of waste heat there. And you know what? I totally missed. It looks like this minute, Corwell81 followed me. So thank you so much for that follow. I greatly appreciate all of the support that you guys give me here at Ray's Smithy. And I wouldn't be, well, I mean, I guess I would be here without you, but I wouldn't be having nearly as much fun out here without you guys. So I am so grateful for everything that you guys do, all of the support that comes here on Twitch as well as on YouTube. This is so convenient, man. My partner got me this like jug that I can put water in. And now I can fill up my water cup out here. The only problem is that it doesn't fit under my sink. So I kind of have to like fill it up, or I have to fill up my cup and then pour the water in there. So I don't have as much water in it as I want. There's probably about 6 cups of water in there right now. Do you need my recipe for goulash? Ooh. Being in the land of Lincoln, are you going to forge a huge penny? I mean, I theoretically could forge a giant penny. I don't have a plan to do a giant penny within the near future, but I mean, I could add that to the list. The list of projects right now are, hammer eye drift, hammer, and then we will be doing an axe eye punch and an axe eye drift, and then we will be doing an axe. So those are our next few projects that should take us through the entire summer. But I have worked with copper before. I've worked more with bronze than copper. Bronze is a little bit easier to forge than copper. But I don't know, maybe sometime in the future we could do a giant penny. You could add ice to it so you can get cold water. I could add ice to it, but that means that I actually have to, fill the ice tray. I do not have an ice maker on my refrigerator because it is from like the 90s. It's like a ridiculously old fridge. I have to manually put the ice in the tray, and I always forget to do it. So I don't know. I need to actually do it though, because then I'd have cold water, and cold water is always better than hot water. The water in there kind of tastes a little bit like plastic. Maybe I should rinse it out after the stream, clean it out, and refill it. All right, so we're gonna do another heat at the anvil. I know what I'm doing. Let's do this. So like I said, we are kind of trying to instead of really forging this, we're trying to give ourselves a little bit of flattening action, I think. That way it's a little bit nicer, those hammer eyes, so that when we put that wood in there, it doesn't splinter or crack on us. And I will be taking this over to the grinder to kind of continue that a little bit, that practice. All right. I think I'm doing all right with this guy. Like I said, I really need to take it to the grinder to get off some of those extra little wobbles and the wibble wobbles. A lot of that is actually from the press. But you can also get a lot of that out just by hammering it. So that's what we're in the process of doing. There is a little bit of a bend that direction, so I think I'm going to pull this out so that we can work on this section here, the black section. And I think we're about done with this guy. Ugh. My little tool rest. There we go. I needed to pull it out a little bit. There we go. Much more better. Fill it with a hose water and get that nostalgia. Just add some lemon juice. I mean, I could do that, right? Lemonade is a great, refreshing drink. Much better than soda. I usually have some Gatorade like after the stream or sometimes during the stream, because it gives me that extra like salt and like the sugar. So all of that I sweat out, I like to replenish it. There's a little bit too much sugar in the straight Gatorade, but I really don't like the light Gatorade either. So I don't know. I gotta figure something out. I did actually see like this. It's supposed to be like a healthy alternative to Gatorade. I think on Facebook, they were looking for content creators to kind of sponsor. But I think that it was more like codes, and their sponsor program wasn't amazing. So I didn't really look into it too thoroughly. We're gonna let that heat up for a little bit. It started out as pretty cold, so we're gonna allow it to get hot down by the tip. Then I'm also going to test it again with this guy, and we're going to see where we are there. I am a little bit weirded out by how short the handle has become. I think really it's because I have this tendency to like not do the math to get or when I am making things, so I never know. I just kind of wing it, and then sometimes I make things in weird dimensions. Good evening, Sandwich. Hello. There's a lot of powder supplements that do energy and electrolytes these days. It's hard to get through all the marketing hype. What did the ISP guy do? The ISP guy, he came here and he replaced our modem. He replaced the cables that go out to the box, and he replaced everything up to his, I guess he called it a drop. So all of that is new cable, new connections, and a new box for it, modem, I guess. So if there's anything else that's wrong with it, it is not on my property. Everything is brand spanking new. And so fingers crossed, it's all fixed up. Paint is trying to get me to buy the paid version of it for whatever reason. Let me see about putting this in front of that. For now, looks good. 100 bits from Ping. Thank you so much for that cheer, Ping. Thank you so much. I always appreciate all of the support that you guys give me. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think it's working pretty beautifully. I am getting a few frame drops here and there, but it's not from internet. It's from like the buffering of my system. I don't think you guys can see it, but I see it because I have like an incredibly detailed monitor on right now. And so I think that you guys aren't seeing it, but I am. Yeah, I can see it. I've got a couple frame drops here and there, but it's like one frame here, one frame there. Overall, it seems to be working beautifully. And if it doesn't work in like, a week or a couple weeks, then it's gonna, they're gonna get a very angry phone call. So, fingers crossed that it is functional and good and I don't have to fight anymore. I can see OBS chugging a little bit. Oh, you can see the OBS chugging of it. I'm sorry about that. That is actually my the RAM in this laptop. It's getting a little bit difficult, or it's starting to, because it's old. It's starting to chug. So we will have a new laptop in September at the latest. But I have to save my pennies. So it'll happen. I can't do it right now. Security alert. So now it's being stupid. You've gone. You can go away. And you can go away. And I know that you guys can still see me, but I can't see me. Sound was gone and now it's back. I think really what I think happened is there was a little pop-up and it was not happy. The pop-up is not happy. We're chugging. Over here, at least you can. Meanwhile, order some pretty decent refurbished laptops. I think I missed a. Yay! They are much cheaper than the new ones. Yeah, so we've got a laptop that we have in mind. It's a relatively cheap one, and I'll be able to edit 4K video on it. So yeah, all right. So it is acting funny, but it's not the internet. It's the laptop. We're doing all right now. I think it finished its encoding error. I apologize. This time it's the laptop ramping us down. I greatly apologize for that. Like I said, soon, the laptop that we're looking at, it is I think it's a $600 US laptop, and it's got 32 gigs of RAM and Windows 11, and it's got a pretty decent beefy graphics card, but that's about all it's got. I think it only has a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, so we'll have to do some external hard drive work, but other than that, I think that it should work pretty well, especially for the stream itself. Now that I believe is okay, we are going to take the steel out of the heat again. If you can, or if the SSD is a M.2 format, you can also switch it out. I don't know. I'm not very good with laptops or computers in general, really. I leave all of that up to my partner, and he's the one that found the laptop. Ouch. So much scale. So much scale coming off of this, but that's because we're at a forge welding heat, and unfortunately, yeah, it seems to be working really well, like moving, so I'm pretty happy with that overall. All right, let's see about that. All right, straighten. Okay, so we're gonna check it again. I think we're doing pretty good. I think that's a pretty good snug fit, or as snug as this thing needs to be. So I think we're gonna call this done because we've got to spend a little bit of time at the grinder with it. So, because we want this hard, what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this guy up, and then we're gonna take it to the quench bucket, and we're gonna quench it hard. Welcome in, Drew Alone. Welcome in, Raiders. I apologize for the frame drops. We're having a little bit of issues, not nearly as bad as we have in the past, but we're still getting a little bit of frame drop. So I apologize for that. The RAM in my laptop is a little bit on the slow side. The laptop's getting pretty old. We were just talking about replacing it, And so we have the laptop that we want to buy, but we haven't been able to purchase it yet. We're saving our pennies, but we've got a couple other things that we have to buy first. We have a bid out on a travel van, so we didn't know that the laptop was going to start. It was going to start failing us as soon as it did. So we put that bid in before we, knew we were going to have to buy a new laptop. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to fix it yet, but it will. That will come before September. So welcome in, Raiders. I'm so excited to see you. I think I missed the raid. It looks like Adventure Sand. So welcome in. Today what we are doing is we are making a hammer eye drift. So what this guy is right here is this is a hammer eye punch. And so this started out as a really old vintage piece of kit. I purchased this in Indiana at the Indiana Blacksmith Association conference a couple weeks ago. And so I cleaned this up. I pulled off the handle, and we're kind of using this as a guide. So I want that piece of steel to match this piece of steel so we can start making some hammers. I would absolutely love to make some hammers, and I'm really excited to do that. So once we get these two matching, and I got to do a little bit of grind work on this guy, and we are going to be quenching it here shortly. But once I get all of that taken care of, we're going to make a hammer. And then from that hammer, we're going to make an axe eye punch and an axe eye drift. And then we're going to make an axe. And I'm really excited about making these axes and hammers. Tools to make tools. I tend to buy a refurbished business laptops. They're pretty sturdy and reliable, but rather expensive when new. Refurbished for 400 to 600 euro. You can get a decent machine. Adventures and naps. We have had adventures, and now some are napping and some are enjoying blacksmithing. Awesome. That is exciting. Naps can be great. I feel like after this, I'm going to have a snack, a shower, and then maybe take a nap. That, maybe not in that order, but I'm pretty sure the shower is coming first. It's really sweaty and humid in here. All right, so this right here is the quench bucket. I don't think that you guys, maybe you can see it. If I push it all the way back here, well, is that a better view of the quench bucket? Can you see it? It's behind. I don't think I can do it this way. Maybe? This might work. I'm going to put that there. Is there enough water in here? Not for a full quench. I have a little bit more water over there. I'm going to go grab it, stick it in here. While I'm doing that, I am going to adjust the view on our close-up camera. Whoa! As I slip on some dust on the floor. So this is our quench tank right now, and so it's full of water, and this is a water quench tool steel. It is a low carbon tool steel. It is actually called Atlantic 33. It is a proprietary steel developed by the United States Navy for use aboard submarines. So they wanted to make sure that their guys didn't burn out all of the carbon for their tool steel. So instead of carbon, it's barium in that alloy. And yeah, so we're going to quench it, or at least we're going to try and quench it. We're going to do our best to quench it and make it nice and hard. Okay. Are you guys ready to see some quenching? All right, there's the quench bucket. You guys can kind of see that. And I think I might actually put that over there. Okay. Let's do this. Well, we've got the tip quenched pretty well. I don't have it deep enough. That's my problem right now, is it's not deep enough. You guys can probably hear that sizzling in there. Sizzle, sizzle. All right. I'm going to pull this out, spin it around, and we're going to quench the other side. Mmm, lovely. It's so warm I can feel, or I can smell the bucket. It's a little bit, it's kind of a plastic smell. All right. So we've got our piece, it's quenched, and we're gonna put it right there. And now we have to come up with something else to do. Now that we're done with the punch, or I mean the drift. This is still probably a little bit on the hot side, so I'm gonna put it over here so it can kind of cool down. And next, all right, is your craft old? How many of your technical items or terms are common words? What, all of them? Wow. So yeah, blacksmithing has been around for many, many, many thousands of years. The techniques that I use are relatively modern. I use a propane forge. I use a pneumatic press that is powered by a air compressor, and so a lot. I mean, I do use a lot of hand tools. I do make my own tools, which is what we're doing right now. Is we were making a hammer eye drift, so I will be making a hammer shortly out of probably this piece of steel right here. But yeah, so I combine ancient techniques with modern techniques, and if the ancients had the techniques that I had, they'd use them too. Okay, so let's see, what do we got here in my bucket of magic? So this right here is a bucket of scrap, and so I'm gonna see what all we have that might be fun to play with. I've got a nice piece of 5/8 stock there. I've got a piece of round stock. That is I believe that's a 3/4 inch piece of round stock. Here's a smaller piece. That might be easier to work with. And then this guy is a piece of 1/4 inch stock. So let's see, what do we want to make today? One of those things seems like a pretty good thing to play with. Ooh, I also have this guy. We might play with this guy. This is a fun thing to play with. Actually, I'm going to trade that for this one. This one I was using to practice stick welding on a while ago. Alrighty. I'm going to take this guy. And we're gonna stick it in the forge. Modern just makes it slightly easier. Blacksmith, the person who makes tools for making tools, for making tools. Exactly. So I have stuck a piece of angle iron in the forge, and I'm gonna show you how, or like my favorite style of furniture leg is made. And so basically what we're going to do is we are going to heat up that piece of steel. We're going to collapse that 90-degree angle, and we're going to fold it flat. And then we're going to come over here to the post vise, and we're going to spin it around. I really love making legs for furniture this way, and I figure I'll share that with you while we've got a little bit of time left in the stream today. An advert. Sadness. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to refocus the camera. Okay, that seems pretty good. All right. All right. So it looks like the ad is done for the moment. So I have a piece of angle iron in the forge right now, and angle iron is normally not types of steel that a lot of blacksmiths like to use, but I personally love it. It makes amazing legs for furniture if you know what you're doing, and you know if you're creative enough. Now this is a mild steel. It is a 1019 industrial fabrication steel for, you know, like the uses that you like. It's the same type of steel that girders are made from. So it's a lot of fun to play with, in my opinion. So what we're actually going to be making is a twist. So I think it's really interesting to twist angle iron. So what we're going to do is we are going to finish the fold. Right now it is a 90-degree L shape, so we're going to close that L up and fold it all the way in the center of it. We're going to leave a little bit of that L shape on both ends. And once we're finishing that fold, I'm going to take it over here to the post vise, and we're going to do a twist in it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Dewey Lawn, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community. Thanks for joining the stream. I always appreciate all of the support that you guys give me. All right. We've got a little bit of heat in that center area, and so I think I'm going to pull it out. We're going to start working on folding it over. And I'm going to put you guys over there. So we're going to continue that fold all the way through here, back up this area, and we're going to finish that fold. More heat, more heat. There it is. I hope you guys are still with me. I've been getting a little bit of frame droppage, but we've been all right. Our internet has been really stable. It's just been the encoding errors. So I think we're starting to drop some frames here. Yes, we're good. Okay, cool. As long as we stay cool. So I am probably gonna finish up this this twist. Once the twist is done, I'll probably end the stream for the day. I'm not as sweaty as I have been in the past, but you know, it is still warm today. So we're gonna finish this twist, and then I'm gonna end the stream. We've got several more heats left, so don't worry. There's plenty to watch. Plenty to watch. Gotta stay hydrated. You're good currently. Oh, and brilliant. The steel is quite brilliant. So we've got quite a lot of heat towards the back end of, or like the area that we've already hammered. So I'm trying to wait a little bit until that heat starts going a little bit closer out this direction, so that we can continue that fold. I want about an 1.5 to 2 inches of that angle. And then the rest of it, I want to fold it like a hot dog bun. And that's where we're gonna start that twist. I think it looks really pretty because you've got that on the one side, you've got a lovely corner. It's a very sharp corner, and you just get that beautiful twist in there. And then on the other side, you've got that fold, and so there's that line in there, and I think it looks beautiful. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes, a hot dog is, well, it depends on your definition of sandwich. A hot dog is basically it's like a sausage. So it's like a processed meat that is wrapped in a coating, and then the bun itself is like a long, it's about yay big long, and it's got like a cut down the center, kind of like let's see. What is a universal bread type? It's sort of kind of vaguely shaped like a croissant, but not really. And it's more like a bread, like a sandwich bread interior. So, like the bubbles and stuff, it's like a sandwich bread inside of it. A hot dog is a heated animal. Exactly. I mean, basically, humans and animals are just meat wrapped in a coating or in a casing. I mean, it's like there in the United States, there's a couple people who joke about the fact that even when you eat a hot dog, it's still a hot dog because the traditional coating is made out of intestines. So then when you eat it, then it goes into your intestines, and then it's still a hot dog. So is a burrito a sandwich? It definitely depends on or how loose you want to define your sandwich. Is a sandwich bread and something in the middle and bread? Is it bread between two, or is something between two pieces of bread? Is that your definition, or is it just bread and a filling? A burrito would totally be a sandwich if your definition is bread and a filling, because a tortilla is technically a flatbread. So it's like, how loose of a definition do you want to go? But it's like, there are some definitions of a sandwich that would make a calzone or, a folded pizza a sandwich. The next Lord Sandwich is named Orlando and runs a sandwich shop in Orlando named the Lord Sandwich. Bread and a filling, a a donut would be a sandwich. Yes, I mean, by some people's definition. See, my definition has always been bread and something, or and a filling, because I am of the opinion that chocolate chip cookies can be considered sandwiches and therefore can be considered lunch. That was one of my arguments to my partner as to if I had eaten lunch or not one day. Breakfast sandwich, yes. Because according to the grocery store that I worked with, milk chocolate was considered a cheese. And so the cookie dough with the chocolate chips inside of it was bread and cheese. That's a sandwich, right? That can be lunch, right? All right, so we're going to do another heat. See, I have a very loose definition of a sandwich. All right, so we've got a nice fold going in there. I'm pretty happy with that. I want to heat up this area right here so we can bring that fold a little bit further down. I'd like to bring it a little bit further down on this side as well, but we can only do one end at a time. So that's what we're gonna start with, is that end over there. Chocolate chip cookies are a light lunch. I mean, it depends on how many you eat, right? And what size the cookies are. So right now I'm getting scale off of my anvil. So what scale is it's hot rust. So the burner is a self-aspirating burner. So there's gas that goes across that T, and the gas, as it goes across the T, it sucks in atmosphere from around the area, and it mixes with the propane, and so as it heats, it creates rust. And as that rust, or as it heats up and I hammer it, that rust falls off. And if I don't do it, or if I don't get rid of that, it'll fly up and hit me in the hand, and I get burns all over my hands from it. So I try to keep my anvil and the piece relatively clean of the scale. I tried such things. Unfortunately, my weight for some reason does not really care much for my creative definitions. Lettuce being a meal. Yeah, I'm a relatively small person, and I'm ashamed to admit that I had an eating disorder when I was in high school. And so my partner is very meticulous about making sure that I eat so that I don't relapse. And so he doesn't really believe my creative definitions of things, but I still have to try every once in a while. Lettuce is the food variant of construction foam. Yeah, it's just kind of filler. I mean, you can make salads out of it, but like most of what you're eating is the stuff with the lettuce. It's not amazingly nutritious by itself. So, you got to be a little careful. Construction foam is slightly more tasty. Eating too little is for sure not my problem. Yeah, my childhood was a little bit, there was some stuff happening, and, you know, most of it was my own fault, but, you know, it was what it was, and so it's a lot better now, and I don't have that issue as much anymore. So, you know, and I'm just naturally skinny, so. But I eat a decent amount anymore. But I have a high metabolism, so sometimes it's hard to eat enough. Some foods are substrates for dressing. Yeah, I like, my favorite type of salad is Caesar salad. So, you know, that oil and like the spices and things. I also like cheese and chicken in my Caesar salad. But I really like Caesar salad. I don't know why. I kind of do. All right, we're going to do another heat. And then we're going to flip it around. We're still getting a little bit of green flame. That's kind of funny. There's probably some scale still inside the forge. All right, so right now we're kind of trying to center the fold on that L shape. So we got to be a little bit careful. We're gonna look down it, make sure that it's nice and straight in there, and then we're gonna flip it around. Put it back in the forge. Yay! Awesome. We're getting there. Because of the chicken and the cheese, I guess. Et tu, Brute? I love everything I grow. King, how is your garden? What all are you growing this year in your garden? I haven't been able to keep track of yours or Yankee's garden recently. What all of you guys planted? We keep telling ourselves that we're going to plant a garden every year to just kind of get rid of some of the yard space. We live on about 2 acres of acreage, and my partner mows it with just like a push mower, and it's a lot of work. And so every year he's like, we're going to make a garden. We're going to make a garden. We're going to grow peppers and garlic and onions, and we never end up doing it. You grow fun, green flame, copper, boron, or nitrogen. It's barium. That's what I looked up. I looked up what metals burned green, and that's the one that we came up with that was most likely to be inside of the other steel that I was using, the Atlantic 33. Oh, yes, it was manganese. You're right. It was manganese, not barium. I don't know why I said barium. It was a B, and I don't even know. But yes, manganese. That's the one. Sandwich, you're totally right. Barium, where does that come from? See, I don't know. I was wrong. Sandwich is the correct one. It's manganese. That's in the Atlantic 33, not barium. Things are moving to summer plants, but we still have peas and strawberries. AB as in manganese. Manganese makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. AB manganese. I don't know where I came up with barium from. All right. I'm going to do one more heat on closing that sandwich, and then we are going to heat it up and do a twist. Beans are coming out, and peppers and lettuce. Ooh. Peppers and lettuce and beans sound like great things to have. Do you do any canning, or are you mostly just eating it fresh? I know a lot of people in this area do a lot of canning. A bunch of my friends have been asking for canning jars recently. All right. Whoa. Jumping. Jumping, jumping. All right. So we've got a beautiful fold right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it over to the post vise, and we're going to twist this guy. But first we've got to heat him back up. We want to heat that center area. K for potassium, W for tungsten, B for manganese. Oh, okay. Hey, Nimbus, welcome in. But according to Wikipedia, barium also makes green flames, so that part is correct. Hey, I knew I must have found it somewhere. I think I had pulled up a list of things, and I think barium was maybe on it. What did I do with my... I need to sweep the shop. I've got so much scale today. It's ridiculous. I was bidding on a Peterite anvil, but it's already going above my budget. Man, Peterite anvils go for so high sometimes. I've seen them go for like really low prices. Like I think the other day I saw one at $3 a pound, but a lot of times they can go up as high as $10 a pound because people are like obsessive about Peterite anvils. I just don't like. There's a part of me that understands it, and a part of me is like, that is just too much for any anvil. You know what I mean? Too much for any anvil. All right. I paid $2 a pound for this anvil, so I paid $200 for it. So it's in a larger scale today. This is a large scale stream. Exactly. Lots and lots of scale. I love those dad jokes. They're great. Keep them coming. All right, so I'm going to move some of this stuff that I have just hanging out on top of my post vise. That way I don't set it on fire by accident. This is my multi-tool. It is a Gerber multi-tool. This thing is amazing. I love this thing. It makes the Wolverine shink noise. I love it. It's so cool. I can open it with one hand. That goes in my pocket, not on my post vise though. That can go over there. The rest of this can kind of hang out here on the anvil because I'm done using the anvil for the moment. So I'm expecting this twist to take about 2 heats. We'll do one side, we'll do the other side. It might take 3 because I think I'm heating the center right now. I just want to make sure that I get a really good a really good twist on it. Is that Bluesy? That is Bluesy. Welcome in, Bluesy. Welcome to the stream. Long time no see. Which Gerber do you use? I'm not entirely sure, like, what the numbers are, but it's got like these like two little squeezy things that lock, and then I can squeeze them and drop it down, and it's, you know, one-handed. It's really, really nice. And then it's also got like all of the tools inside here. It's got this little plastic thing. You pull it back, and then you can pull all the tools out of the center. I'm not sure which design this is, but they don't make it anymore. And this is the special gunmetal black. This was made for like special forces people or something. Anvil auction link in the Discord under tools. Woo! I know I usually see you were streaming when you end your stream. Yeah, unfortunately. I usually start the stream around the same time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I mean, people have lives. It's hard to get out and at the same time every time sometimes, you know? Especially as a farmer, I mean, you never know when you gotta fix a fence post or, you know, stuff like that. So I don't, you know, it's all right. Come and join the stream whenever. We are getting towards the end, but, you know, you're always welcome anyway. All right, so we're gonna start that twist. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put you guys over there. Okay. The ad starts soon. Fence posts are not the problem usually. It's more the fences. I guess that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. All right, I am not sure if we're in ad time or not, but I'm gonna try this anyway. All right, can you guys see this? I think it's a little bit. I don't like this. You guys can't see it. I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to put this back in the heat. And then I'm gonna move that a little bit so you guys can see it better. Because I don't think you guys can see that very well. Is this describing fence post error? Something like that. Alright. Okay, so you guys should be able to see a little bit better after that. Oh, and do I have an ad going? I don't know. I do not know when my ad is going and when it is not going. But we're going to heat that up, and hopefully you guys will be able to see the close-up camera a little bit better after it finishes reheating and after the ad. What is that? Oh, the ad starts in 15 seconds, but it doesn't actually start in 15 seconds. It's usually about 30 seconds after the timer says it's going to start. I don't know. But we're going to do what we can. Oh, goodness gracious. I have too much stuff on my anvil right now. I know I said that I was just going to like leave it here because I didn't need my anvil. I don't like looking at it on my anvil, so we're gonna clean it up a little bit. Well, you try putting up a fence. The posts may break, but they usually outlive the wire 7 to 10 times. I mean, that makes so much sense, Lucy. It really does. Because the wood, it'll last for a while before it starts rotting out, and it takes a few years for a fence post to rot out. Whereas the wire is going to start rusting, and because it's so thin, it's not going to take very long to rust out. So that makes sense. Depends on the kind of post. I mean, yes, definitely. It definitely depends on the kind of post. The treated 4x4 posts that you use for like decks and things like that in the United States, I mean, those things last for quite some time, but I highly doubt that Bluesy's using those for a farm fence. That just seems really inefficient and really expensive. Adverts. Yeah, we're getting ads. I won't do anything exciting while the ads are happening. Because, you know, I want you guys to be able to see what's happening. And I want to be able to talk to you. So I'm really excited that the internet hasn't dropped. We have dropped a few frames because of lag with the RAM and OBS in general, but we haven't dropped completely. So all we've been really getting is a little bit of frame dropping. So that's really exciting to me. Okay, it looks like the ads are done. I have to figure out what to do with all the fence posts at our family farm. I mean, depending, sometimes woodworkers like to recycle them. Back. Awesome. All right, we're going to try this again. We'll see if I can't make this work a little bit better. We'll put that there. We're going to do a lovely twist, or at least we're going to hope to do a lovely twist. All right, so we've got one time around, or almost one time around. So we're going to come back over to the main camera, and I'm going to grab this hammer right here. This is a rawhide hammer. It's not going to mar the material, and we're going to straighten it out. Straighten. That's what we want to see. We want to see a really nice straight twist. So that's not too bad. Now we're going to turn it around. Probably, maybe. Or we're going to drop it, one or the other. All right, we're going to heat up the other side. There we go. A lovely twist and very visible scale. Yes. Raindrops keep falling on my head. I'm sorry. They just climbed the roof of the barn and then jumped down as they really wanted to get out. When we had goats. It was nearly impossible to keep them in. The fences were more of a suggestion. Yeah, I can imagine that. Goats are really handy at climbing things. So I'm really sorry about the frame drops, guys. That'll be my next thing to fix is, getting a different computer out here. we weren't sure if we were getting the frame drops because of the computer or the internet. And now that we're kind of ruling out the internet, we're starting to find out that there is also problems with the laptop. So I will look into that. We'll start fighting that problem, and we will we'll fight the fights as we come across them. And so yeah, I think we definitely need a new laptop. So I will put that on the list, and hopefully we can get it there a little bit faster, maybe. I just wanted to make another pun on the song. Yeah, all right. It is really easy to keep goats in. Make a mule part of their herd, and the goats will follow the mule. That's interesting. Do we know why that is? Is it because the mule is bigger and they just follow the large thing because it will protect them? Or, does the mule just whip them into shape? Are they more dominant creatures? Follow the golden mule. Follow, follow, follow the yellow brick road. So yeah, I would be very curious as to why that would happen. Goats following mules. The mule is the strongest one. All right, that makes sense. And the mule will protect the goats. That makes a lot of sense. See, that's what I kind of figured. Is like the mule is big and strong, and the goats know that it will, it has those nice hoofs and it can like kick predators and things. So that makes some sense. Alrighty. We have heated the rest of the material. We might need to do a little bit more heating in the center, so we might do 2 more heats, but we're definitely ready to do our next heat. So let's do that. Okay, I like that view. I think that it's a pretty decent view. All right, now I gotta figure out what direction to spin it. I think I need to spin it. This, no. Do I need to spin it that way? Now I'm all confused. No, I think that's backwards. Nope, that's backwards. Goodness gracious. I am too cold now. So I need to heat this back up again. I'm sorry, guys. I got confused. Confusion. I live in a state of confusion. Let's twist again like we did this summer. Twisting, twisting the night away. Welcome in, life and pain. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're twisting. Except we're trying not to get confused by the twist. So every time I put this stupid thing in, I kind of have to like reassess which direction I need to twist it. And I need to kind of remember. And sometimes my brain doesn't function quite as well as I want it to. Well, goats have been known to kill wolves, but usually there are some victims. Mules make so much noise and are so strong. Most solitary wolves stay away, and if it's a pack, well, you might lose a few goats, but mules usually just grab the wolf by the neck and send them flying. Oh, wow. That is kind of crazy. I did not know that mules were that, like, protective and or aggressive. I guess I just assumed they'd like run away or something, Oh, go round and round and up and down we go again. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. She certainly doesn't. Alright, let's try this again. fingers crossed I figure this out before I lose my heat. That's why. Okay. Okay. Here we go, here we go. And I've done this backwards again. I did this upside down. You know what? You know what? One of these days. Boom. Zap. Straight to the moon. Alright, I need to get the center area hot. And we're going to do one more heat on this guy. I think I'm alright with this. But I am definitely not alright with the center area. So let's take some of the scale off of here. And then we will go into the central area and focus on that. There we go. I was singing part of the twist. Yes, let's do the twist. Like this. Now you gave me an earworm. Confusion by Electric Light Orchestra. Never underestimate herbivores. All the world's greatest animals eat grass, or most dangerous animals eat grass. I mean, yeah. All you got to do is look at the hippopotamus. Those things kill so many more people than like sharks and alligators, and they're supposed to be herbivores. They don't eat fish or anything. They eat plants. And they'll kill you. They'll look at you and they don't like you. They'll just eat you. I mean, like they'll just like crush you in their jaws. It's kind of scary. Twist and shout. Almost. They are omnivores. Oh, are they omnivores? I thought they only ate plants. I mean, I guess maybe if they're eating the, people and crocodiles and their own babies, that would make some sense. Animals do not necessarily want to eat you to want to kill you. That is very true. They just want to, defend themselves from you, and you don't belong there. A lot of sharks. I've read like a couple articles that say that sharks, they bite you because they think you're turtles or sea lions, and so they only ever usually take one bite out of a person because they take that bite and they're like, this is not what I signed up for, and then they move on. So I mean, there's that. Hippos are herbivores, but they will bite lions in two, especially with mating season. Mooses will kill you. Yeah, mooses are so dangerous. Like, yeah, you do not want to mess with mooses. Not one bit. Alright, let's do the center area, and hopefully we can get this done. Alright. Mooses. I think the plural of moose is just mooses, but Okay. There we go. That's much more better. Okay. That is a lovely twist. I'm really happy with that guy. I do want to take a little bit of time to kind of straighten it out. So we're gonna do this. Oh, you know what? I need to do this first. Because I need to make sure that the L's are going the same direction. That's one of those nifty things about chair legs, you know, you kind of want the ends of these guys to be the same direction. All right, so we're going to heat this guy up one more time so that we can kind of straighten it out. We're a little bit curved, as you can see. So we're going to straighten this guy out. I would rather not even have one bite taken from me. Exactly. Moose will just run you through. The plural of moose is moose. Lovely twist. Thank you. I really love the twist that you can get out of folding up a piece of angle iron. And angle iron is typically a material shape that a lot of blacksmiths just will not mess with because it's really hard to do anything but like fabrication with it. But you can do some beautiful things with it. So I you know, we had some extra time. I figured I'd show you my favorite thing to do with it. All right. So this is going to have to be my last heat for the day. So if there's anybody that you guys would like to raid, let me know. Otherwise, I will find somebody. It'll take me a little bit of time, but we will find somebody to raid. And yeah, let me know if our friends is streaming, or if one of your friends is streaming. Well-known Swedish dessert, mousse a la chocolate. Yeah, chocolate mousse. That stuff is so good. One more heat, Mahalo. One more heat. Alrighty. I am going to leave the camera here on the wide because I don't want to have to move the closed camera. I'm sorry, guys. So here we go. There we go. Alrighty. That's real nice. I like that a lot. It's pretty straight. So if I look down it like so, seems pretty straight to me. Unlike last month. Whoops. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Have a lovely rest of your day. Still a lot of green flames and only while the piece is in. So there must be something in it too, which causes the greenish flame. I mean, maybe. I guess I haven't really like thought about it. All right. I mean, like I said, it could be. Oops. Is it gonna do the thing that I want it to? Are you gonna transition properly? No, you're not. There we go. Copper. That is why you don't have a wooden floor. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I don't have a wooden floor. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all for your support. Welcome to the community. Good stream today. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Mahalo. You also have a good one. All right, let's see who is streaming today. Are any of my friends streaming? Friendo, friendo. Otherwise, we get to meet a new friendo. Who do we got? Everything is so slow on this laptop. I'm sorry. Let's see. Looks like we get to meet someone new. Let's do that. Who do we got? Acrylic designs. Ooh, chainmail. Let's go and visit Mr. Bumati. Chainmail sounds like fun. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you.